the last part. For the NISD RFID program to break even for the district-wide installation cost of $12.5 million and the annual badge replacement cost of $1.7 million, NISD would have to reclaim 983,333 underreported absences over 10 years to cover NISD's total RFID cost of $29.5 million. This equates to reclaiming 16,666 underreported absences each school day in the district for the next 10 years, or 149 underreported absences in each of NISD's 112 schools each day. So I'm just asking there's someone to please do the math. And lastly, on the third item that I object to is on religious, philosophical, and ethical grounds. Student RFID cards are a terrible way to track attendance. Just because a student RFID card is at school doesn't mean the student is, and yet the state is obligated to pay NISD.
Would you bring your testimony to a close, please?
Yes, ma'am. Student RFID programs are not only religiously offensive, but is dehumanizing and unethical. Tracking children like cattle in the slaughterhouse goes against the grain of all common sense and decency. There's a scary resemblance to NISD's tag and track to the mark of the beast mentioned in the book of Revelation. I have a duty to obey God and resist any program that would socially engineer people to one day accept the mark of the beast. Simply put, student RFID programs groom children to become unnaturally subservient to a man's authority and to one day accept the mark of the beast and be forever separated from God. As a Christian,
Mr. Your time is up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for Mr. Gerloff? Thank you for your testimony.
You're welcome. Thank
Chair
you for
calls
this opportunity.
Steve Hernandez. Mr. Hernandez, would you state your name, your affiliation, and your position on the bill?
Yes, ma'am.
Your 4 minutes of testimony.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. My name is Stephen Hernandez. I am for this bill. I am Andrea Hernandez's father. That's my daughter. We've been fighting this at Northside Independent School District. The reason we're here today is because we're fighting this on our religious beliefs. If I may, just for a moment, just read to you where our fight came from, okay? It's on Revelations, verse 13, verse 16 and 17. And it speaks about the Antichrist. It says, he causes all both small, great, rich, and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Basically what this passage is saying is that he doesn't distinguish whether you're rich, poor, free, or slave. You're going to take the mark no matter what. Well, Northside Independent School District and Wade Garcia and those companies, they don't distinguish either. If you're rich, poor, free, or slave, they don't care what color you are. You're going to take the mark. If you do not take the mark at Northside Independent School District, you don't get to eat your lunch. You don't get to buy football tickets. You don't get to go to the dance. My daughter was... her rights were taken away from her at school. She could not vote for homecoming king and queen because she didn't have an RFID tracking chip. Deputy Superintendent Ray Galindo stated to me when we had our conversation, he says to me, he says, Mr. Hernandez, I will make your daughter a badge that's just like the RFID tracking chip, but it won't have a chip in it. But if I do this for you, Mr. Hernandez, she must wear it around her neck, fall in line like the rest of them, and show support for the program. So we're not going to do that because that's compelled speech. You're not going to have my daughter or my family put a smiley face on a program that we disagree with. So we do believe that this mark, like Al was saying earlier, is going to lead to the mark of the beast. What it says in the Bible, you can't buy or sell. That's exactly what happens at Northside Independent School District. You can't buy or sell. Wade Garcia and his company will have you believe that this is for safety. It's not safety, ladies and gentlemen. RFID tracking chip, all it does is create a history on your child of where that child has been. It won't stop a bullet. It won't stop a knife. It don't stop somebody coming on the property and taking your child. It's not for safety. It's all about money. Because they're so hungry for money. Northside Independent School District is. And Wade Garcia, they don't care about trampling on people's religious beliefs or infringing on people's civil liberties and right to privacy. They just don't care. My daughter's been kicked out of school because of her religious beliefs. Out of 4,200 students, she's the only one that's been kicked out of school. I have 1,000 signatures back here on my folder, petition from children, parents, teachers, bus drivers who have checked this program. We are not going to sacrifice our salvation for Northside Independent School District to make money or for Wade Garcia to make money. If you go to Northside Independent School District right now, go to their website, front page, they are lobbying for all the parents and teachers to come against you guys because they said you are holding their money back and they don't have money for education for that school, for their school district. They tell everybody, call your congressman, call your representative, tell them to release that money to us. They have a $1.5 billion budget a year. They're $2.8 billion in deficit. They haven't been able to pay that deficit in 10 years. But they don't care. They just want to infringe on our religious freedom. So I gave you 3 packets each to read at your convenience. I'll be more than happy to take any questions. And I do want to thank everyone for allowing us to speak today.
Members, are there any questions for Mr. Hernandez? Chairman Aycock.
Mr. Hernandez, thank you for coming to testify tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
This is a bill we've heard a couple of times, in fact, now. You heard the previous discussion I had with Chairman Kolkhort about this type of technology that's physical, this type of technology that's nearby. Do you object to use of both of those types of technology concerning?
What I object to, sir, is tracking of children. Okay? If I have a badge at work that I swipe into a clock with, I have no problem with that. John Jay High School has 250 cameras, and they have an entire police force sitting on that campus. Those children are safe. There's no need for an RFID tracking chip for anybody. And they would have you believe that their administrators wear tracking chips as well. They don't. We have found out that their badges are fake.
Yeah.
Now, these badges that you speak to, sir, there's an active and a passive, and I'm sorry.
This one's passive.
Yes, sir.
By her definition, I'm not sure we have that quite right yet, by the way.
I agree.
Now, passive chip, it does not, because this active chip that they have, sir, it goes off across the web. They put all the information on the internet, so it can be hacked and found out.
I don't.
These don't.
Okay.
These
So,
don't.
but you don't. But in your testimony, you testified that you objected even to the card that your daughter would have to wear.
It's an RFID tracking chip, sir. The reason I didn't take the badge that looks similar to it, because what I tried to tell NISD was, that's like taking the mark of the beast and only showing it to your friends and using it when you can get away with something. That's like if I walked in a party, everybody was drinking, and I had to put a can of beer in my hand because I wanted to look cool with everybody else and fit in. We're just not going to do that. He wanted us to wear it around the neck, fall in line, show support for the program. We don't do that. I don't drink, I don't smoke, so I'm not going to go to a party and when my friends are smoking and drinking and I'm going to pretend to be doing the same thing. It's immoral and it's compelled speech. The Northside Independent School District, Wade Garcia and his company don't have the right to force that onto anybody. We are a free society.
So you believe that would include this type of technology?
You know, sir, that right there, I've had a badge like that when I used to work at SeaWorld back in the old days. Boop, keep on going. I didn't have an issue with it. Why? Because it wasn't tracking my every move. It didn't go into a system to where you were at, where everybody can watch it. The system is so complicated. I don't know if you have heard of a group called Anonymous. Anonymous, later last year, around November, December, they're a hacking group. They hack all these places around the world. They hacked Northside Independent School District website to let them know, see, we can pull up all that information that you said is secure. We just got it all from you. They've hacked it.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Hernandez? No. Thank you for the testimony.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Chair calls Andrea Hernandez. Ms. Hernandez, would you state your name, your affiliation, and your position on the bill?
Hi, my name is Andrea Hernandez. I am for this bill, and I am the student who got kicked out of John Jay Science and Engineering Academy for refusing to wear an RFID tracking badge. When this whole thing first started, I felt very uncomfortable about the whole thing, and I went up to my father and I told him, I'm not doing this. It's making me uncomfortable, and this is really, really similar to what the book of Revelation says. And so we sat there and we discussed it, and he was like, okay, you're not doing this. I was like, okay. So we didn't do it. Then, because I didn't want to, the school district decided that they were going to take it out on me. I have been surrounded by police officers, coaches, administrators, all trying to intimidate me because I was protesting a program that I don't believe in. Now, there have been many, many repercussions because I have religious faith. Because I'm a Christian and I read the Bible and I see the correlation, I'm not asking you guys to agree with me and to change your faith and, to be the way I am. I'm just asking to understand where I'm coming from. Because of where I'm coming from and because of my position, I have been kicked out of school that I enjoyed going to. I am unable to continue my education at that school because I worship the Lord. Because of their RFID tracking badge, I became sick. I was sick every single day I was at that school. I had headaches and bloody noses. I turned this ugly gray color. My eyes were drawn out. I had dark bags under my eyes. I think it was because of the radiation. There's information that I believe is in some of the packets that my father has given you that you guys can look at that shows that there are health effects of RFID. And I believe it was the RFID that was making me sick because now that I go to Taft High School, I have not been sick not once. I don't get headaches. I don't get bloody noses. I used to come home so nauseated from all the radiation. There's 3,000 of us in one campus. Well, all that radiation would make you guys sick too, right? It's like being in an X-ray machine for 8 hours. It's going to make you sick. I really want this bill to pass because I don't want other students to have to go through what I had to go through. Do you have any questions?
Any questions? Chairman Eckhart?
Similar questions that you've heard before. Would you object to passive technology with a card like you've seen demonstrated?
I'm not sure how I feel about that just yet. I think I'd have to go home and sleep on it and tell you another time.
Fair enough. If you took a job, for example, in a security type building like this one, where you had to come in and go back and forth with that technology, would you accept that job?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It would be something that I would really, really have to think about because I don't want to make myself look like a hypocrite.
Okay.
And
do you drive?
No, not yet.
How old are you?
I'm 15.
Okay. When you get ready to drive, will you have a driver's license number?
Yes.
Driver card.
Okay.
Does that have...
Well, I think there are a lot of numbers assigned to a social security number, driver's license numbers,
Right.
credit card numbers, handgun license numbers.
And I understand that, but that doesn't track
You have a student
my movement.
identification number where you are.
Right, I do. But that's not something that I can go and say, well, hey, I'm a student, but I don't want a student ID number, but I can't go fight that because then I'm going to go get in more trouble. And that's one of the evils that you have to deal with as a student in a public school district.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for coming to testify.
Thank you.
Thank you. The chair calls Wendy Riley. Ms. Riley, would you state your name, your affiliation, and your position on the bill?
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members. My name is Wendy Riley, and I'm the Director of State Government Affairs for the Technology Association of America, also known as Tech America. So I'm here today in opposition to HB 101. Tech America is a leading voice for U.S. technology industry, the driving force behind productivity growth and job creation in the U.S. We represent premier technology companies of all sizes and before decision makers of state, federal, and international levels of government. We oppose HB 101 as it seeks to circumvent local control and limit the use of a very practicable and safe technology that provides a wide variety of benefits to its citizens. As this technology has matured, industry has developed solutions to provide significant improvements in safety, security, and privacy. In fact, RFID technology is contributing to the safety and security of citizens right here in Texas, where it's used at border crossings to enhance the flow of commerce. But more than that, Tech American member companies that produce RFID technologies are based right here in Texas, bringing good-paying, high-tech jobs that contribute to the local economy. We're happy to work with the legislature and the representatives to provide more information regarding the benefits of the technology. And I'd be happy to arrange a demonstration where some of our members could come in and show a little bit more about the technology and what it does and what it doesn't do. I guess most importantly, Tech America will continue its efforts to see that technologies are treated neutrally in law, and that attention is instead focused on regulating against inappropriate behavior and what bad things people can do with technology. So I thank you for your time, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Members, are there any questions for Ms. Riley? Representative Riley?
Ms. Riley, just curious, how do you see this eroding local control? It seems to me it gives control to the school board. I'm not sure how that erodes local control.
Well, I guess if there is an opt-out provision, and I think the schools could speak more directly to this, but if there's an opt-out, would it really work? Would the technology really work, or would the purpose that it's serving work at that point? And again, I think if it's a decision that the local school district is taking up and they want this technology, and again, I understand the difference between the passive and the active, that if, first of all, the boards vote on this, having another resolution, and if there's an opt-out provision, would they be even to make an accurate account of the ADA and what they're trying to assess with that technology?
But is not weighing all those variables absolutely local control?
I guess so.
That's my point. I mean, that is local control. Us deciding here in Austin is not local control.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Representative Akar?
Hello.
You've heard some of the similar questions.
Yes, sir.
There may be better witnesses later on for this, but let me start with you.
Okay.
Regarding the active versus passive aspects of the technology,
Yes, sir.
what is the maximum range that a passive, what we're calling a passive card, like our reader cards that we've demonstrated coming in here today, what's the maximum effective distance that someone can be monitored with that card?
I wish I could have had one of our companies, the member companies that do manufacture this technology. From what I understand, it is short range. It's probably around 30 feet.
Ooh, that's a long range.
And it may be less than that. Again, I wish I could have one of our companies come in and they would provide a demonstration and provide all those clarifications.
Okay.
I tried to get someone to come, but with short notice they weren't
For
able
example,
to.
my cattle reader will read about a foot away.
And it may be something closer to that.
My card readers, I come in the garage, will read less than a foot away. So I think as part of my concerns about the bill, I'll talk to Chairman Kolkhort about this, I think we need to tighten the issue between what's possible with a passive chip and what's possible with the RFID energy source chip. And I think that, if I'm understanding it correctly, the technology may be different for one that has its own energy supply versus one that's read from a reader, not dependent on the energy supply to the chip. If you could provide us through your association or maybe witnesses today, I'd like to know that difference of what the maximum range is.
I will be happy to do that.
Yeah. Representative Hill?
I just have, I guess, a technical question on what organizations that you represent?
Tech America. It's the Technology Association of America. They're headquartered out of D.C., but I'm located here in Texas. And we have many member companies here located in Texas. And two of the companies that do provide and manufacture RFID technologies are located in Texas.
Okay. And it may be a different type of technology. And I think maybe some of the objection I'm hearing is the fact that other people have access to reading the signal to determine location of or is it maybe it's because it's children, I'm not sure. But I understand it may be a different type of technology, but in new automobiles, I think that they keep a recording, sort of like a black box of everywhere you've been and how fast you went and all that. You can get that information already. And so, I mean, we're already in that situation. So I don't know that if the objection is the fact that who can see this information or if the information is being gathered. Because I think today, if you drive a fairly late model automobile, that information is available, tracking everywhere your car has been, or if you get on an airplane, everywhere you are. So it's not something new enough. So I guess we need to define what it is we're actually objecting to. And is it because it's a child who does not have the ability to make decisions on their own? Because I think a lot of us would be surprised at what information is already on what we're doing. So this is like tip of the iceberg what we're talking about. So I guess we maybe need to develop with the witnesses, because the technology that we have, I mean, we have technology now, depending on the type of automobile you have, get so many feet in your car, doors can unlock a lot closer than swiping it or pushing a button. You don't have to put a key in the ignition anymore. So, I mean, in governments tend to lag way, way behind technology. Most things do. Even when you buy it, you lag behind technology because it's outdated. So I just wanted to get there because that helps me determine what questions, I guess, because I would like to understand the true objection, or if the objection is made with the knowledge of what's really going on. Because a lot of times we object to something, we don't know what actually is happening.
Well, and again, I will be happy to set up a demonstration and have some of our folks come in and answer those more technical questions. I do state government affairs, and I wish I could have had someone from one of our member companies come in and talk specifically about what the technology is, what it does and what it doesn't do, and to answer the chairman's question. And I'll be happy to set something up. And again, we're happy to work with the legislature and with Representative Kolkhort to make sure we get to the right solution.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
I have a question. My question was, and I don't know that you can answer it, is what do schools use it for?
As far as our member companies are, what they do is it is used to, it's not to track, that means to follow, and what ours does is when the child passes through a point where there is a reader, it lets the school know, and the school has the database, that child passed through that point. It doesn't say if they're in the restroom or in the cafeteria or in the art room. It just says that they're in the building because they passed that point.
And that means he's present.
Yes.
What else do they use it for?
As far as I know, that's my knowledge of it. But again, I can have someone from one of our companies come in and sit down.
They also use it to track federal lunch programs. If you ate lunch, that's what it's called.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I can get that information to you.
Okay, just one. Okay, maybe we'll have someone with that expertise later. Are there any questions, other questions for Ms. Riley? If not, the chair calls Michael Wade.
Hello, thank you so much for having me here today. I appreciate the opportunity. A couple of years ago, I was here.
You got to speak.
I'm sorry, my name is Michael Wade.
Affiliation.
And I'm with Wade Garcia. Yeah, I'm sorry. My name is Michael Wade. I'm with Wade Garcia and Associates. I'm the president of the company that manufactures and develops the RFID software and hardware.
Your position?
I'm president of the company. No, it's not the position. I'm
on the bill.
No, I'm against the bill, please.
You're what?
Against the bill, please.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. A couple of years ago, I was here, and we did meet with Representative Kolkhort, and I would like to work with her with the bill. I think it can be strengthened, and we could work together. And also, there's a number of things that she's concerned about that has been done by the school districts. One is that it's been board approved. They do notify all parents. And then when you're in registration, when the badge was issued to the child, they do sign off on it. So I think the school's made every effort to try to introduced the product, why they were using the product, and it is used for both safety and ADA. The safety issues we are developing now is with access control. We also have a badge that will be introduced this year to teachers where it has a panic button, where they would know immediately where the teacher is located and at what level they touch the badge. We would tell you what kind of event, whether or not someone entered the school with a gun, God forbid, or whether or not there was a fight or what have you. That's all being tested at Northside ISD. So it's a total security package, not just RFID, and being for ADA. They do use it for ADA. Spring ISD has used the system for 6 years. This is the first year for Northside ISD, and Santa Fe ISD has had it for 3 years. And so the systems work very well. There's approximately 30,000 students wearing the badge. In regards to the Hernandez young girl we met today, apparently she did oppose it for religious reasons, and as far as I know, the school was willing to let her opt out. That's really all I know. I don't sit on the board of directors, and I didn't discuss it with her, but I do understand. I've studied theology. I studied for the priesthood, and that the mark of the beast I clearly understand, and I don't consider this the mark of the beast at all. But obviously that's their views. The system, now like I said, we have over 30,000 students wearing the badge, and it's been quite successful. And we have a number of schools across the country calling, very interested in the product, obviously, because of the exposure. We were on the Today Show and a number of other shows lately. I'm now dealing with New Jersey and New York, Pennsylvania, over 45 schools districts have asked, and we've approached them and introduced it to their board of directors. And there's a number of schools in Texas that have a real interest in the product as well. It is a location system. No one sits and actually tracks anyone. Basically you put a student's name or number, which is on student database. The server is located at the school, and they're able to locate the child. And only a few principals and certain employees of the school are allowed to have access. So it's not really a tracking system. Any questions, please?
Representative Desautel?
Okay, just to clarify, because I think that was one of the points being made. And so when you say it's not a tracking system, are you saying it doesn't have the capability to log on if you have the right software on your end, monitoring end to watch the movement of the student?
It gives you the last read as the child walks by the reader. So
okay, so does it have to have?
It does give you, if you will, a cookie trail of where a child may have been.
See, I think that's